Okay, here we are in Fusion, and I want to make sure that we are saving our work in the right folder. So click the little Rubik's Cube and back out of Random and choose, make sure you're in your right name. So if I'm Brandon, that's not quite right. Let's just choose on that one. So I'm here, and I'm in this folder. I can close that, and now I can go ahead and save, and I'll save it in that particular folder. All right. So we always start off with a sketch of some kind. We're in this three-dimensional world, but we don't really want to create in 3 dimensions yet. We want to create in 2 dimensions and then move it out from there. So we've got different sketching type things we could do. Let's just start with our simple rectangle, and let's do it here on this bottom plane, and we're looking top down. So let's click there and start dragging out. You can see it's highlighting my dimensions. Let's just make it 50 millimeters. I'm going to click Tab to the other one, 50, and press Enter. So now it's locked. It looks good. Let's stop that sketch. Perfect. So now we're here with that. So when we want to make it larger, we want to extrude it out. We can click that, and we can extrude right here, or if you look here, the keyboard shortcut is E. So let's click that and click E. And you can drag it up like this if you want, or let's make it exact. Let's make it a perfect rectangle, or perfect square. No, cube. All right, 50, enter, and let's click home to go back. So here's our shape. And we can hold shift down and middle mouse wheel to rotate around. If you get lost, you can always click the little home there. So we want to make a box that we could set some stuff in. So let's click that top face and let's modify it. And we want to use this shell. And when we use the shell, we can drag it in and out for how thick we want it to be, but try not to estimate how big it is. We want to make it the size of our foam board, which is about 5 millimeters. So let's type 5 and press Enter. Now it looks kind of thick, but it's because it's a small object. This is only 50 millimeters here. If you weren't sure exactly, you could come here to inspect and measure. Let's do from that point to that point, and it tells me that that's, you can't see it very well, but that's 50 millimeters. All right, so that's great, but let's pretend we wanted to make a divider here. So to do that, here's kind of my home view. I'm going to click that face, and let's make a new sketch. And let's start dragging it. I don't care how long it is, but I do know that I want it 5 millimeters. That looks good. Let's stop. And then we can do the same thing, and we will extrude it out. And it looks good. Let's click Enter. And amazing. Look what we just did. So let's click Home. And that looks good. You can start to do more things. You could round the edges. Rounding the edges for this might not look great, but let's grab it all and press the F. F will bring up this fillet tool. Let's grab it again. There we go. And let's just, if I start to do it, maybe too much. 2.5 seems too much. Let's do 1 point. Let's make it, oh, we're crashing. Hang on, guys. Oh, it's 1.25. And let's click Enter. So now you can see it kind of rounded my edges, which makes things look a little bit nicer, although it's going to end up being difficult to actually make if we tried to make that. So don't get in the habit of rounding anything that doesn't need to be rounded, but if you're just making something in the computer, sometimes it looks nicer like that. And some other things I showed us today was how to add some material. So let's just let's do this. Let's make the outside here. Let's press F. No, not F. I lied. Let's click these two faces and let's make them blue aluminum. Perfect. Let's do those two faces as well, or those faces. And we might as well do almost all of it, right? Oh, see, we're getting crazy. We're lost. Click out of here. Click Home. Now I'm not lost anymore. Click you. Click you. I'm trying to click all my faces. And let's drag over that. And for good measure. Okay, so let's take a look at what this actually looks like. Let's render it. And let's render it with some good settings here. Let's make sure it's on fast. Let's make sure it's on an environment, and the environment I want to use for this is just the photo booth. Photo booth is just exactly what it sounds like. Let's come home. Let's look at it from that angle, and let's go ahead and click play. Oh, we forgot to do our scene here. Let's add some reflections in here. And just like that, we've got this, looks like a toaster. We've got this square, cubish toaster we made. And that's the extent of where you should be at as of January 14th. It's a Monday today.